I'm so glad I'm in all these investor chats on Skype that I got added to.
Yeah, I know. It's great. It's like buy some Bitcoins immediate. Every time I go on, I block.
I too have noticed the price of gold is doing well. Thanks. Never would have gotten that info if not for being in this Skype group that I didn't want to be in.
Oh, you wanted it. Howdy, it's Thursday, January 2nd, 2025, and this is episode 244 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City podcast. I'm Kyle Askin, joined as always by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
The new year, it's 2025.
You know, I don't follow things that closely, but I read a story that says that soon Atlantic City magnate Donald Trump is actually going to be the president. It's the first I've heard of this. So
What?
I assume that can only be good things for the city, right?
Direct influx of cash for Atlantic City projects. The first thing he's going to do, day one, open the aquarium.
Funding confirmed.
Funding for the HVAC for the aquarium. Immediately opening on Inauguration Day.
Oh, man. It's going to be a good time to be in the Atlantic City business, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Not like 2016 to 2020.
He calls into all sorts of other shows. Maybe he'll be a regular guest on Due for a Win.
Maybe. We could dream.
I can see no reason why he wouldn't. He loves us.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the podcast. We wouldn't say that if it wasn't true.
That would be wrong. That would be lying.
Yeah, this is how we end up in jail. So, new year, fun stuff. New year, new always, once, never. We got an always, once, never via email from RDP.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks, always, once, never, Fortune Pai-Gow Poker, which is just the standard Pai-Gow Poker with the Fortune bonus.
Maybe it's like you have to play the Fortune bonus.
Face up Pai-Gow Poker.
Uh-huh.
Or Pai-Gow Tiles.
I mean, for me, I think it's going to be pretty obvious.
The shortest always, once, never of all time.
Yeah.
So you're obviously always Tiles, once more Fortune?
Yeah.
Face up.
No, face up is bad. I mean, face up is like amusing the first time you play it, just because you can set some weird hands with no pairs that you would never set normally or something, just to be cute, but it's a dumb game.
I've never played face up, but I don't really need to.
How's that possible? That's literally the only Pai-Gow in like 90% of places for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I want to throw that into the ocean. What I was going to say is that regular Pai-Gow Poker was probably my always, but it's getting harder and harder to find.
Well, I think we have to assume that you'll be able to find it. I mean, tiles certainly aren't in every place, so.
I mean, would I be sad only playing tiles one more time? I think I would be a little disappointed, but I think I would still rather have regular Pai-Gow Poker.
Agree.
It's my always.
It's more up your alley.
Yeah.
It's a bit more pushy.
So I'm going Fortune Pai-Gow Poker, always, tiles once more, face up, straight into the ocean.
And for me, it's pretty clear. Tiles, always, normal Pai-Gow Poker once more, and then face up, straight into the ocean.
Yeah.
I would be a bit disappointed to only play Pai-Gow Poker one more time, but...
You're only going to get to play it one more time anyway, because it's disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
Face up, all day, every day.
That is probably true.
Yeah.
That's sad.
So we had mentioned that it's 2025.
Uh-huh.
Do you have gambling, Atlantic City, casino, New Year's resolutions?
So, I do. This is a really crazy one. This is like stretch goal.
So many slots, just play every slot you see?
Absolutely not. As always, my resolution, I think, is going to be play less slots than I did last year, and I think I actually succeeded last year at that for the first time in a long time. Still, I could probably do less of that at more table games, but I would like to perhaps, I don't know if it's reasonable or not, but I will try to stay one night in every casino in Atlantic City this year.
Whoa. I mean, for one thing, that's 9 nights in Atlantic City.
9 nights. How many nights did we spend last year in Atlantic City? How many trips did we have?
Certainly not 9 nights.
Like 6 nights total over 4 trips or something?
Everybody sit around while I look this up.
Mm.
So we stayed 5 nights.
It's not very many nights.
Over 3 trips.
Yeah.
And the only hotels we stayed at were Borgata, Tropicana, and Resorts.
That's disappointing. So I have a question for you. Are you still going to Atlantic City this month?
I don't know.
And you're booked at Resorts for that, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to. It's 3 weeks from tomorrow. The wrench in this is that my brother-in-law had their second kid.
Ooh, gotta make the trek to Cape Cod at some point.
That is going to be the week before that.
Okay.
But my in-laws are not able to go then, and they would be back the next weekend. It would be able to go to Cape Cod the next weekend, which is
so
the
they would not be able to watch children.
So they would not be able to watch children if they do that. My wife is optimistic that they will just be like, no, we don't need to go until February. And I'm like, I might as well just cancel these resorts reservations now. That's about where I'm at on that. But we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens.
All right. No, 9 nights in Atlantic City this year.
That's a bold goal.
Even that would be a win, even if it wasn't in different casinos.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a resolution, but I've definitely had it in my head that I need to play more at some of the casinos that I don't play at or haven't played at in a while.
Bally's?
Like Bally's, which even the idea of, I'm like, it's not going to be any different than it was 5 years ago. It's probably not even that much different than it was when it was a Caesars property.
But the bar, it rotates, Craig.
The bar does rotate.
You understand.
I don't know that I need to stay at Bally's, but I would like to play, Bally's, Golden Nugget, some of these casinos that I really haven't spent much time in.
Yeah, we should do a Golden Nugget night. If there's ever going to be like a one-night trip with me and you, it would be a good time for a Golden Nugget trip.
It actually feels like it's been a while since I've played at all at Ocean, which seems crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I've played at Ocean in years.
Years?
Yeah.
I stayed at Ocean in August of 2023, so I don't think it's been years for me. But I think you were at Tropicana that trip while we were at Ocean.
Yeah.
We were at opposite ends of the boardwalk. Mm-hmm. Tropicana is really not at the end of the boardwalk. The Hilton is more toward the end of the boardwalk. And that's significantly further than the Tropicana.
My New Year's resolution is to buy the Hilton and reopen it.
I like it.
In exactly the same form as it was in 2005 when I started going.
I think you need to open it in exactly the same form as it is now.
Right.
And just dust some stuff off, or not. And then open it up and see what Bart would do.
Yeah.
Lease out the casino space to be who knows what.
Lucky Snake South.
I think you should go the opposite direction. Showboat went very kid-centric with Lucky Snake.
Very, very adult-centric.
And this should just be like Times Square in the 70s.
The East Coast's largest strip club is now in the ACH.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of X-rated movies, specifically from the 70s,
right.
I think for nostalgia purposes.
I'll put up a big sign that just says parking in back.
Park at your own risk. If the garage collapses on you,
it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, one of the things I miss the most, one thing, if I could do it in that building, is just I feel like parking in that garage and taking that weird walkway that had all these twists and turns to get to the building. I need to do that walk again, because that is one of my key memories of that property. It's just you get there and you're doing that walk through all the walkways.
Yeah, the Trump Plaza had a similar walk from the bus station where you're walking around sort of the outside of the building, and then you used to go past some fast food sort of options, and you're like, who's going to these? Why are these?
So
anyway.
Last trip I took you guys, I feel like you and Matt maybe walked with me, because I hate the quarter because I don't like people. So I walked down the walkway in Trop to the West Tower.
Oh, yes.
That goes by the bus station, which is very isolated in Trop too. So
I love that walkway.
That's one of the best walkways. It is the best thing by far about staying in the West Tower. It's just getting to always take it. But I always take it anyway when I'm in Havana Tower.
I like how themed the walkway is. It feels like if anything in all of Tropicana just leaned into the Havana theme at a very cheap price to do it, it's that walkway. It's good. I remember that from taking the bus in. Anyways, my New Year's resolution is to play more table games, which I feel like I said, I'm going to play table games every trip, and I feel like I did the bare minimum. I just checked the box, right? Now I need to actually sit down for a little bit and play a table game. I played 10 minutes of that crisscross poker last time. For the previous trip, I forget. I played something, but it was very brief. So yeah, I need to try to play a little bit more table games. I've had 15 losing trips in a row now.
That's good. I mean, it's because of not playing table games.
I think it directly correlates with my leading into 100% machines, where I haven't had huge, horrible sessions, but it's just the odds that almost all your sessions are going to be negative if you're always playing slots in video poker is pretty high.
I think with slots, maybe not. They're a bit higher variance, but for me, video poker, it just kills me every time. It's I put $200 in, and then I leave 10 or 20 or 30 or 45 minutes later with $0 every time.
The last 2 trips at the very least, I didn't finish down all that much, but I would have been up if I didn't play any video poker.
It's so low variance, right? If you don't get a royal, What are you doing there? Even if you get a 4 of a kind or 2, like, that's not going to do it for you. It's not going to be able to overcome the inherent nature of the game.
And proving that point, my last 2 positive trips, which, by the way, we're going back to May of 2021, is my last positive Atlantic City trip. And December of 2018 was the one before that. But I mean, there were only like 4 trips in there because of COVID.
To give you a sense of how long ago that was, we celebrated that 2018 trip by going to the Continental, which has been closed for how long?
No, that was in 2018.
Oh.
That was 2016.
How many Royals have you had?
3.
Oh my god.
Well, in person I've had 3, and then I've had like 4 or 5 more online. But those barely even count. Those only won like $200 or something. Those are my last 2 positive trips, and they both hit Royals. So basically I don't go positive unless I hit a Royal. So that's not a great feeling to know that. Basically going into a trip, I have to hit a Royal Flush if I'm going to come out of it. And that is sort of what you were saying, right? Like if you're playing a ton of video poker, you're either relying on hitting a bunch of 4 of a kinds. I don't know. Like even that doesn't carry you that far.
Right. I mean, there is the opportunity to like, you know, I got 1 billion dealer credits and I played for 2 hours and only lost $100. Like that is possible in video poker, but winning I feel like is very difficult if you don't get those big hands. You know, whether it be a Royal or whether it be like 4 aces in bonus poker or whatever.
Yes. I think bonus poker is probably one solution because it gives you more options for some bigger wins. Obviously, you like bleed out more on the 2-payer, only paying back your bet. My guess is people who are listening to this who are big video poker players, like that's their jam, who actually win every now and again, are much better about setting some sort of like stop win. Right? Oh, if I'm putting in $100 and if I get to 200, I'm just stopping.
Right.
Which if I put in $20 and I get to even 60 or 80, I'm like, well, now it'll be a long time before I get down to 0. I just get to play longer, which if go in willing to go down to 0, like you're almost certainly going to go down to 0.
Yep.
At some point. So yeah, it's good.
I mean, if you put the money in the machine, like for me, that indicates my willingness to go to 0 on what I put in for.
So you might as well just do it at that point.
I mean, I'm not like, well, I'm going to put $200 in this video poker machine, but I'm only going to spend $50. That's ridiculous.
But if you put in $200 in the machine and you get up to like 300, are you then like, oh, if this goes back to 200, I'm going to take it out? Because that's one thing that I'm bad at. I
say that a lot, and then I get to 200, and then, I stare at it, and then I just hit deal.
Absolutely. All the time. All the time. I'm like, I cannot let this go. I need a positive session. I cannot let this go under whatever it's, $20 a lot of times. And then I'm just like, Yeah.
Sometimes it's gone, and sometimes, you get bailed out, and you get like a pair of queens or something, and then you're like, okay, cash out.
I can't even bring myself to do that. I'm like, ooh, I got to push my luck one more time. The best is you go to whatever, like 1875, and then you get 2 pair, and it's like, ooh, one more bullet in the chamber. And then you just keep clicking deal, and then you go down to nothing. That should be my New Year's resolution, is to actually take a win every now and again on video poker.
No, you shouldn't do that.
Take a win. Even a $10 win.
Look, if you take a periodic win, then I feel like our title doesn't apply anymore.
That's a good point.
If you lose every time, then you are perpetually due for a win.
That's true. Part of the other issue with video poker at the level that I play it is that, like, the only really satisfying amount to win is the $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I won $35. Let me cash this out. This is no, like that doesn't really mean anything.
Come on, man. 125 quarters? That's what you want, right?
Right. So you got to keep playing for the Royal. Like, what are you even doing if you're not trying to get the Royal?
That's $50. It's something.
That's true. $50 is something.
Or, I mean, in theory, I heard that there's this hand that pays 250 quarters, but surely I've never gotten that, so.
I've had a couple of those.
I had one ever, I feel like, at Bally's back in the day. And that was actually a winning video poker session, so maybe I need to get more straight flushes.
Maybe you need to go to Bally's.
Yeah, there you go. Bally's. Here's one for you, Craig. Maybe this can be the year that, we'll go in the summer, you'll have good rates nowhere, and you'll finally stay at the Irish pub. Could be a good AC New Year's resolution.
I don't want to make that my New Year's resolution.
Stay at the Irish pub.
You're going to stay at all 9 casinos, and I'm going to stay for 9 nights at the Irish
pub.
In a row. That would be a rough 9 nights.
I don't think so. I think you should mix in Chelsea's Pub and Inn and, a few other classic places like that. Is Chelsea's Pub still an inn also? I think so, right?
Yeah, I think it's not particularly cheap either.
Oh.
You got to do like the Days Inn, Not the one on the boardwalk, but the one that's like back past the Orange Loop.
The Ramada, yeah, that Days Inn. The Ramada that's like down near Hilton.
Whatever the thing is that used to be the Trip by Wyndham that's changed hands like 16 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, just check all these off the list.
But yeah, absolutely not like the Sheraton or whatever. It's way too nice.
No.
The Courtyard by Marriott, also too nice.
I'm going to do the actually motel tour of Egg Harbor Township. Just going to bounce around to all the Pleasantville and Egg Harbor Township.
I mean, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but we used to stay in like kind of cheap motels, either in Pleasantville or whatever, Absecon, when we would go to Atlantic City when we were 21. 4 of us to some $60 a room.
Econo Lodge.
It was bad.
That's being 21.
Yeah.
That's how memories are made, Kyle.
And then I started getting those Hilton comps, and that's when we knew we made it.
That must have been a big event in your life, like getting that comped room and just being like, oh my God, we're actually staying on the boardwalk, boys.
Much better than staying in Pleasantville.
Yeah.
Pleasanton?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Pleasantville. Like the movie with Spider-Man in it, Tobey Maguire and Reese Witherspoon. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some follow-up from the last episode, which was a trip report. Maybe our most heated argument in the history of the podcast.
Truly. Or basically Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Stephen A. Smith.
That's what the people want.
Yep.
Disagreements, strong opinions. We got some feedback. One in the Facebook group.
Yep.
From Justin W., who came in strong on my side.
He did.
So I appreciate the support. Although I did show my wife and my brother the text chain. Because my brother listened to the episode and he's like, I have to see these texts. And I showed it to him and explained the whole situation to my wife and showed her the texts. And they were both like, you are both idiots. Neither of you actually said what you either were going to do or wanted to do. And so neither of you, well, me mainly, didn't get what you wanted. So they think that we are both idiots for our lack of communication. So we both lose.
I got what I wanted.
But you didn't get what you
wanted. I don't
wanted.
feel like I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Right. So the difference is, I did bad communication and didn't get what I wanted.
I mean, I would have liked everyone to have gone, but it seemed like that was just not an option from what you said. So
no, I think everybody wanted to go play. What, you're in AC, you want to gamble? Gross.
No.
It's disgusting.
Foolish.
So any other thoughts on the Irish pub thing? I know you're excited about that part, but
I'm glad that, I was at least a little bit vindicated by your brother and your wife.
Certainly more vindicated than the vitriol that you got in the Facebook group.
Yeah. No, I was a bit fired up after I saw that comment, and I had just re-listened to the episode, and I feel like it made me double down internally of like, nah, I did the right thing.
Never apologize, always attack.
Yeah.
So we also got feedback. We got an email from James H., who in the past has told us that Angeline has the best steak in Atlantic City.
Uh-huh.
He said, I disagree with your assessment on restaurants at Borgata. American Bar and Grill is great. And I told you earlier that Angeline has the best steak in AC. He also says that Noodles of the World is going to return to their original location once they finish all the construction they're doing. And he suggested ordering beef chow fun or chicken pad thai if you like those things. No word on what restaurant is going into the izakaya space, he says. So any thoughts on his feedback about the restaurants?
So when we were there, American Bar and Grill was closed that night, so that was not an option. But when we went...
Was it?
I think it was. Well, we went a couple years ago, I feel like. A year or two ago. I thought it was good.
Yeah. I would not rise to great. I would not call it.
No, I think for me, here's the thing. When I look around Atlantic City and see the value you can get, I think American Bar and Grill is probably, definitely, right? Just more expensive than Doc's, right? And I feel like it's not as good, so.
I think it's probably similar price-wise
similar price?
to Doc's.
Yeah.
And for like generic sort of MGM branded restaurant, which is what it feels like, that's what used to be the Wolfgang Puck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm only in AC 4 or 5 nights a year and I've only got 5 dinners a year in AC, it feels like a waste to use one of those on like generic Borgata restaurant when I could be going to Doc's or even going to like a divey place like Tony's Baltimore Grill or like someplace that's more of an experience.
Yeah. No, I would rather be at Tony's Baltimore Grill myself. Maybe I'll try to go to Angeline this year and get the steak.
We should, like, one high-end meal.
Yeah.
Like, we so rarely do. I mean, we did Nobu.
Yeah, that's true. We did do Nobu, which was very expensive.
And we did Doc's twice this year.
Yeah. Nobu was 2022, right? 2023. 2023.
Yeah, it was December 2023,
yeah.
I think.
Along with staying 9 nights in 9 different casinos in Atlantic City, maybe I need to eat 9 different casino meals as well.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Eat like a sit down in every casino.
So are you doing a bunch of solo nights to do these 9 nights? Because I'm not getting in 9 nights.
Yeah, no. I would suspect that would be what I'd have to do. So we'll see.
To be determined.
One more thing. Just, I'm going to try. We'll see how it works out. It sounds like the second Denver trip or Blackhawk trip is going to be in September, I think. I'm going to try to go. So that would be another good gambling resolution. I loved it there last year. So
I wonder what the odds are that I could do it. It's tough because it's right at the start of the school year, and there's just like a bunch of stuff going on, both with my wife's school stuff and my kids' school stuff. So
it was fantastic. My favorite trip of the year.
My one last thought about the last AC trip is that as I was editing, I was thinking about the drink ordering system at Tropicana going down at like midnight, both the last 2 times I stayed in Tropicana.
Mm-hmm.
And then having waitresses just come around with totally random drinks, which I think on the last episode I said it was Sex on the Beach, but it was Long Island iced tea.
Oh,
not a Sex on the Beach.
That's much better than Sex on the Beach, I think.
But when it's 12:30 in the morning,
it will get you drunk.
You do not need a Long Island iced tea.
That is definitely true.
So my conspiracy theory about the boss system, as it is called, the drink system going down at Tropicana, is that when it's like peak time and a bunch of people have ordered drinks and they've gotten up before the drinks have come, and the waitresses are just walking around with a bunch of extra drinks that they don't know what to do with, they shut down the boss system. And then it's like you get what you get off the tray and you don't get upset. Then once they've cleared out the backlog of drinks, they turn the boss system back on. That's my super elaborate conspiracy theory. Certainly it's not something as simple as it gets overloaded when there's too many people in the casino and it shuts down. It's much more elaborate than that, in that they wait until there's a backlog of drinks on the trays.
Maybe. It's possible. That's an idea.
That's an idea that someone could have.
I don't know. Could I imagine them ever just shutting it down themselves? Sure, I think it makes some sense, but I don't know.
I mean, I do think it's much more likely that it's just like, we're overloaded. Like,
yeah. Once it reaches a certain volume, it just turns off or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be. It just, volume reaches a certain level. They know the experience is going to be bad.
Right.
Which is going to lead to, like you said, if it takes 20 minutes for a drink to come out, people just aren't going to be there anymore. And then you're going to have all these waitresses walking around with all these drinks that no one wants.
Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a dick move to leave the machine before your drink comes, if you've ordered a drink?
I don't think so. If you run out of money, this could happen at a table game as well, and there's something you want to do, I mean, especially if the service is slow, I don't think it's a dick move necessarily. I don't think it's something you should lose any sleep about. For me, if I get a sense that it's been a couple minutes already, she'll be probably back around soon, I will just loiter for a little bit and see if she comes, but, at some point, you have to leave, right?
I definitely feel bad that you're basically, taking a would-have-been tip away from the server. But on the other hand, if you're looking at it from...
Right. If it's been 20 minutes, right. Especially at a table where, you order, and then it's where'd she go?
Yeah, and I almost never do it, because I end up just loitering and waiting for them to come. But if I order a drink and I've lost whatever my buy-in was at that point, it's this is a really expensive drink now. So, the casino's gotten their money. It's not like them dumping the drink is, some bad thing.
I think it's a bit different, too, at a slot machine, because you can really just sit there and wait,
right?
For the most part, unless it's a super high-demand machine or something. At a table game, you feel a little bit ridiculous just sitting there and waiting, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the waitress would rather you stay, and the casino would probably rather you vacate that spot.
Leave. Right.
and they'll gladly dump the drink.
I mean, even at a slot machine, the casino would rather you leave, certainly.
Right, yeah. They would rather you vacate the machine, absolutely. They don't want you sitting there not playing.
I mean, they don't really care about the waitress's tip, so...
No. And the drink costs the casino 45 cents, so they don't care about that either. Yeah. All right, we have some news. We had stuff that we couldn't even get to because of the trip report. One of those things is that the former Good Dog Bar over by Knife and Fork is going to become Birdcage. All one word, BYRD, like Bird Stadium at College Park, which is now no longer called that. And it's expected to open in early January, which is right now early January. Do you think it's open yet?
It's probably a little bit too early in January.
This is going to be the first LGBTQ plus bar in Atlantic City in almost 20 years, according to an article in Philly Voice, which I will link to. Birdcage will have a piano lounge and a restaurant on the bottom floor, first floor, I guess, and then entertainment space for drag events and theme nights on the second floor, according to the article. So one interesting thing about this is it talks about it being the first gay bar in Atlantic City in 20 plus years. I learned in the Bryant Simon book that in the 70s, when Atlantic City was really in pretty bad shape, there was a huge gay bar scene in Atlantic City because people from New York and Philly could come get cheap rooms in Atlantic City, and there were a bunch of gay bars, and you could hang out, and you were like far enough away from home that it was mostly anonymous, and so it was like a vibrant scene, and that was like the one happening thing in Atlantic City in the 1970s. So it was interesting from that standpoint, like the historical standpoint of how it's completely gone away, and now they're trying to bring it back.
It's a different world now, I guess. I'd assume that things like Tinder or Grindr or whatever probably do away with a lot of the necessity of that, having spaces that you know you can go and meet other people in this minority or whatever. So
yeah, and I think it's also generally much easier to be out in the open with that stuff.
Right, that's true
than
too.
It was 50 years ago.
Wasn't as secretive. That's definitely true as well.
It'll be interesting to see how that does. I do think they have a little bit of a location problem.
I don't think it's a huge location problem for this type of
That's true.
bar that will bring, in theory, I guess, people in. It's not necessarily going to be somewhere that you swing by or whatever. If you come to Atlantic City and want to go to the gay bar, then I don't think it's like a disqualifying location for that.
You're right. I think that's a bigger problem for something like Good Dog.
Like Good Dog, right. Like a generic bar. Like, why are we going there? We went there once. It was fine. Like, I didn't feel the need to go back.
Yeah.
I think you liked it better than me.
I did like it a lot. So this is the space that used to be the Swingers Club, and the person who is opening Birdcage said that they were originally looking at buying it back then, and then it became Good Dog Bar, and then when it became available again, they jumped on it. So hopefully it works out.
Yeah.
The Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival, which the last iteration of the summer iteration was canceled, but as far as I can tell, the spring iteration does very well still. They've announced the headlining bands for the March Festival, which when this got announced in December, I was like, that's so far away. And now that it's January, I'm like, this is very close, actually.
To be clear, the March one is in the convention center,
yes,
right? And the summer one was on Bader Field.
Yes.
So this could have something to do with why one is more successful than the other, in my opinion.
It feels like they should be flipped.
Who doesn't want to go to a noon to 4 tasting in July at Bader Field?
Yeah. So the bands are for Session 1, Saturday, I think it's all Saturday, March 29th. Session 1 is noon to 4 p.m. The headlining band is Senses Fail. And then the 7 to 11 p.m. session is Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. Do you know of Me First and the Gimme Gimmes?
I do not know either of those bands, to the surprise of no one.
Me First and the Gimme Gimmes is a great band name. I think they're just sort of a standard punky sort of band from like, I don't know, the 90s, like that era, like a Blink-182 kind of era band. But I've never listened to any of their music. I've heard the name and thought, that's a funny band name, but I've never bothered to listen to either of them. They have some samples on the AC Beer Fest site. You can go listen to their music right this second.
Yeah, there you go. It sounds like something for you to do after the episode.
Stop the episode right now. Go to acbeerfest.com.
I meant specifically for you to go to after this episode. Not necessarily the listeners, but they can do it too.
Normally I do my research and listen to the music, but I didn't have any time for that.
Yeah.
The other news, the 2025 air show has already been canceled. So we got that news. I'll link to an article about that from 6abc.com. But the main thing, there's a statement from the Greater Atlantic City Chamber saying, after careful consideration, the Atlantic City Air Show will take a strategic pause for 2025. We will use this time to reevaluate the overall operations of the show. Blah, 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 blah. We sincerely hope that we will once again be in a position to hold our air show in 2026.
So can you remind me of all the facts of this? So the problem was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Atlantic City really wanted this to be during the week, right? And the organizations involved said, we're only doing weekend shows from now on, right?
That's
and
the
Atlantic
rumor.
City is like, we're completely full on weekends anyway. It doesn't do anything for us to have a weekend show during the summer. And then they were like, maybe we can do it after Labor Day or something, and it just didn't work out. Is that the basic gist of what happened?
Yeah, so the 2024 show was canceled. Originally, they said it was because of funding. Then they were able to move some funding around from some other organization, and they were like, it's funded. And then a week later or less, it was like, no, actually it's canceled because a headlining act dropped out. Like that
the Blue
was
Angels or whoever, the Thunderbirds.
So it seems like that is almost certainly the cause here. So I'm not sure what the solution is going forward. It seems like the most obvious one would be to push it to outside of the summer.
I agree 100%. I mean, for me, I think the solution, if they want to do it, is to do it in April or May or September or October.
Yeah, I mean, I know Ocean City does an air show in October. I don't know if that messes stuff up.
Yeah, well, do it March or April or something then.
Yeah, so maybe it'll come back in 2026 in, off season. April would be good, I feel like.
I think April would be a good month.
Like, not so crowded that it's a waste of time to do it then. Like, it's just not adding anything. But
March or April.
Yeah. March, you can still get pretty crappy weather. April, it never rains, so.
Yeah.
Famously.
That's a ridiculous statement.
Famously, never rains in April. The other news is data. We got to get to our November data on January 2nd.
Yeah, you got to.
December data is going to close out a lot of bets, so that's going to be important for us. This one, less important. At first glance, seems pretty good, the November data.
It looks, on the surface level to be a good month. But, as you so hopefully point out, it was a 5-weekend month, and 2023 was a 4-weekend month. So that makes the 4% increase year over year look quite bad, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you get, like, Borgata was 11% year over year.
Mm-hmm.
Resorts was up almost 12% year over year. Ocean was up 8%. Hard Rock was up. So, like, those numbers are actually maybe a little above what you'd expect even for a 5-weekend month. But then you just get, like, Bally's down 10%, Caesars down 6%, Harrah's down 6%, Tropicana down 6.5%. Like, those are dire numbers for those casinos. So,
well, luckily those casinos are quite small compared to Borgata, Hard Rock, and Ocean.
It's so shocking every time I stay at Tropicana to see the gambling numbers at Tropicana because it's always so insanely crowded.
It is just crazy in there, but I think a lot of it must just be people who go to the clubs and, maybe put $50 down on a table or something, and that's it.
It does seem like, though, they don't ever have enough tables open.
Right.
Which you would expect that more tables equals more revenue.
I mean, it was quite crowded the middle weekend of December when we were there, so...
And at points with tables multiple people deep waiting for tables to open as other tables are just closed. So, I'm assuming that Caesars has done the math on this and figured that it's just not worth it to pay the staff to keep them on hand to be able to open these things when the need arises, but I don't know. I mean, it's also possible that Tropicana is just making so much money on other stuff that the gambling revenue is secondary. And
I'm sure they are making a ton of money through their clubs and drink sales and everything else.
I think we've talked about this, but how much of it do you think is just a high roller issue? Like, surely Trop's not getting a bunch of, like, big whales coming.
That's probably a lot of it.
I mean, we see, like, Borgata does well, Hard Rock does well, Ocean does well, and those are definitely the, like, newest and nicest casinos, right? So
right. I mean, if money were no object, those are the places I'd like to stay, I think.
Yeah, so presumably the people who are coming with lots of money are going to those places, so it's not too surprising to think that the other places aren't doing well. I'm always sort of taken aback by how crowded Tropicana is compared to what their numbers are doing, but I guess if you have one person who's bringing $100,000 to lose, that makes up for a whole hell of a lot of people who are bringing $200 to lose.
Right. No, it's true.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts on the revenue for November? I don't really have too much to say about it.
I don't think I'd call the month dire or whatever, but it wasn't a good month. So, another data point in the, like, Atlantic City's not doing as well as I'd like it to be doing.
Yeah, I think it's really, like, overall only slightly below neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So, I used the word dire, but that was really mainly for those 4 down casinos, like the casinos that even in the 5-weekend month struggled and have been struggling really consistently. Like Bally's was down almost 8% year over year in October. It was down 4% in September. It's just been, like, consistently not doing great unless the city as a whole is doing way better.
Right. We've always had, like, a top 3 and then the middle 3 Caesars properties and then the bottom 3. But it seems like recently, to me, Resorts has been doing just very noticeably better than Bally's and Golden Nugget. So it's almost like a bottom 2 now.
Yeah, I mean, I know Resorts had a month not too long ago where they had a dip, but for the most part, yeah, I mean, where you get Resorts sort of more inching up even toward Tropicana, which seems insane. Like, when you think about the size of those two properties.
Right.
Well, I guess in the summer there was a bigger difference, but certainly in the fall, the gap has closed quite a bit. But
yeah.
Yeah, the size difference between those properties is nuts, both in terms of casino floor and in terms of rooms.
Yeah, Resorts is $2.5 million behind Caesars and Tropicana, and about a little bit less than $2.5 million ahead of Golden Nugget, which is below it, and then like $4 million ahead of Bally's, which is good for Resorts, I think. So we'll see if they can keep it up.
Yeah, so we'll get some year-end data here in 2 weeks or so, maybe by next episode, maybe not. But I think that's it for all the news we had to get through.
All right.
All we're left with is a scenario, which we didn't have a scenario last episode, much like we didn't have Always Once Never.
Let's do it.
This is in the Facebook group. I think that this person's trip that they were talking about has already happened, so I did respond in the Facebook group so that they wouldn't just totally get no response on this. They didn't actually intend it to be a scenario, but we just took it. So
yeah, I think someone suggested in the Facebook group that it be made into a scenario.
So someone in the Facebook group said, I'm bringing my dad who used to go multiple times a year in the 80s and early 90s, but he's only been a handful of times since then. Does anyone have suggestions of things to do besides gambling that would have been there back in the day? And I'll get this person's name while we think about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of stuff on the boardwalk, like my sense is that nothing is the same on the boardwalk as it was back then, or very little beyond the casinos. There are a bunch of kind of classic restaurants, I think, both in casinos and outside of. You mentioned Doc's and Knife and Fork and Irish Pub and Tony's Baltimore Grill. I think these are all excellent suggestions. Angelus Fairmount Tavern as well. Yeah, I mean, I think that's good. What's the name of the restaurant in Resorts that people like to go to that I feel like has been around for quite a while?
Capriccio?
Capriccio, right.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Capriccio brunch.
I mean, I don't know. Someone will tell me that just opened in 2000 or something, as I wouldn't know, but I feel like that's a pretty classic thing to do. Yeah, there's probably not that much, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to go see the casinos that were open at the time. Resorts,
right.
Caesars, Bally's, Tropicana, see sort of how they've changed.
Trop World.
I think it'd probably be very interesting to go see the conversion of Hard Rock, what used to be Taj, if you used to go to Taj. The Trump Castle is now Golden Nugget, which I think from the pictures I've seen, you can very much tell.
Yeah, it looks largely the same, I think.
They redid the decor, but it's not like they structurally changed anything there.
Kind of in the way of Golden Nugget to Hilton that we were talking about before.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, if you were a Showboat player, maybe don't go to Showboat because you'll probably be sad.
Don't go to Showboat. I think that's a bad advice, yeah. Don't do that.
You can go look at the decaying husk of the Hilton. Go see the show at the Boardwalk Hall.
Oh, of course. That's something that has certainly been the same on the boardwalk that you can do.
I don't know. I think probably, not too much is going to feel so similar from then, like just because of how much it changed. I mean, I've seen so many pictures of the boardwalk from like the 80s and 90s when all the casinos were just absolutely raking it in, and you had like, the Warner Brothers store and like big marquees of stuff and like the Ocean One Pier. Like
real looking restaurants just out there on the boardwalk and stuff.
Yeah, and so I think it's very different than that for sure. But the old restaurants are probably the big things. Irish Pub, Tony's Baltimore Grill, Doc's, Knife and Fork. Yeah, I think those are probably a good place to start.
Yeah.
And then, let him tell you what he wants to see.
Yeah, what he wants. Yeah, exactly. I think if there's something he wants to see, he can let you know too.
Yeah. This was James T. in the Facebook group who posted this, which I somehow neglected to include that in the agenda initially.
I mean, there's possible that, if there are places kind of off of the beaten path, like White House or Angelus Fairmount Tavern or something, back in those neighborhoods, that's probably a bit less changed than stuff on the boardwalk from that time.
Yeah. Lucy the Elephant.
A Rando's Italian Bakery. We have to go sometime. We need to do it.
Formica free tag.
I go to Formica reasonably often. At least every other trip, I feel like I make it there, but I've never been to A Rando's Italian Bakery.
That's true. I don't know that that's a place that you can like walk in. I think they probably just do bread and stuff.
Yeah, maybe not. It might just make bread. Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
All
Any
right.
other thoughts?
No, I don't think so. Thank you guys very much for listening. If you want to reach out to us or any of our other listeners, you can do so to our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/doforawin. Find all of our great content and don't buy a shirt at doforawin.com. Reach out to Craig on Twitter or Blue Sky at doforawin or me at Kyle Askin, and send Craig questions to doforawin@gmail.com and we can answer them on air. Also, scenarios, always once never. We love to get them.
We do. We can do something to make our Blue Sky be doforawin.com instead of doforawin.bsky.social or whatever the BS
I
thing.
don't think it matters. It's not going to push any traffic.
It requires effort, I have to say.
It will push literal zero traffic to our site if we do that. So
it's true. It
doesn't seem worth it.
Okay. I mean, even if it pushed traffic to our site,
it's
not like we're doing anything with that traffic.
I mean, we like to see the listen numbers go up.
That's true.
makes me feel good on the inside.
I want my listening numbers to be on Ocean's trajectory, not on Valley's trajectory. That's just makes me feel better.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for listening, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
With a best of 2024?
Yeah, could be.
I'm assuming the episode is over at this point.
I assume so as well, but one never knows.